Notice is hereby given of the regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Town of Westfield in the County of Union, New Jersey at 5:30 p.m. on the evening of Tuesday, March 25th, 2025 in Cafeteria B of Westfield High School, 550 Dorian Road, Westfield, New Jersey. The Board will move immediately into private session to discuss matters rendered confidential by state and federal law, including harassment, intimidation, and bullying. The public portion of the meeting will resume at 7 p.m. The purpose of the meeting is to transact the regular business of the Board and to transact any other business to come properly before the Board. This is to advise the general public and to instruct that it be recorded in the minutes that in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, entitled the Open Public Meetings Act, the Westfield School Board on Thursday, March 20th, 2025, caused to be posted at the office of the Board of Education, located at 302 Elm Street, Westfield, New Jersey, and delivered to the Westfield Leader, the Star Ledger, the Westfield Library, Town Clerk of Westfield, Tap Into Westfield, and Patch.com, a meeting notice setting forth the time, date, and location of this meeting. Patty, may we have a roll call, please?
Rob Bonaccio.
Here.
Kent Diamond.
Here.
Brendan Galligan.
Here.
Charles Gelinas.
Here.
Layla Morelli. Here. Sonal Patel. Kristen Sonic Schmeltz. Julie Steinberg. Mary Wickens.
Kent, would you lead us in a flag salute, please?
Sure.
There is a flag in here. It's on the painting. We'll take it. I ask the board, I move the board to approve the following resolution. Resolve that the Board of Education move into private session for the purpose of discussing matters rendered confidential by state and federal law, including harassment, intimidation, and bullying incidents. And be it further resolved that any discussion held by the board, which need not remain confidential, and the results of the discussion will be made public as soon as practicable. Do I have a second?
Second.
Kent, second. You can do this by voice vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? We are in executive session, returning at 7. Yeah, well, let's see. We're going to try to get started. I know we got some folks who have some places to be. So if you're going to grab a seat, grab it now. Thanks very much. So the board was in private session. We are back in regular session. We are going to start with recognition of a number of our teams, which is fantastic. Before we get started, since I have a room full of athletes, I want to announce something positive, especially for those of you who are going over to the town council meeting later. At this meeting, our board, simultaneously with the town council, is going to be passing something we've been working on for a while, which is a shared services agreement with the town to start work jointly maintaining and upgrading the field at Roosevelt School. This, we are hoping to be a start of what will be a lot of future shared services and a lot of field improvements going on. As much as, we understand what's going on with the fields, we know that we can't sit on those anymore. So we had quite a great response from the town and a partnership with them. So we're going to see which one of us gets to pass it first. We'll call the mayor and see if we can beat her to it. But when you get over there, just please, know that the mayor and town council very much in support of this, and we're gonna get this started and kicked off. Again, hopefully the beginning of a lot of positive cooperation between us and the town. And with that, thank you. Well, that was good. I don't know. I'm trying to see if any other good news I can come up with. That'll work. So let's get to the fun stuff. So it is with great pleasure that we're gathering here tonight to celebrate the remarkable achievements of our winter athletic teams. First, I'd like to extend a heartfelt congratulations to our state champion boys hockey team. Where are they? There we go. This season has been nothing short of historic, marked by a record-breaking journey culminating in the program's first ever state championship title. Your dedication, perseverance, and outstanding teamwork have not only brought pride to our school district, but have also set a new standard of excellence. Tonight, we honor your extraordinary accomplishment and look forward to hearing more about your incredible season from Coach Bertucci. But first, let's get you up here. When I call you up in alphabetical order, please accept your certificate of recognition from Dr. Gonzalez and proceed onto the stage to await a photograph. Aiden Allen. Or Alon. Alon, right? All right, come on up. You can come up. He's over there. It's hard to be the first guy. You got to give him a break. All right, Nicholas Benson. Tyler Bergman. Jackson Chicola. Troy Conover. Jack Conrad. Ryan Druskowski. Liam Duffy. Brody Essler. Luke Fitzgerald. Jack Gargulo. Austin Halloran. Andrew Lisnock. Daniel McDevitt. Luca McLaren. Robert Pacharka. William Reed. Joshua Singer. Christopher Smoke. Aiden Wilson. Blake Wotnowski. And Coach Brendan Hickey. Coach Spencer Truesdell. And head coach Joe Bertucci. Coach Bertucci, would you like to say a few words about the team's success?
Absolutely. We had a few guys that couldn't make it tonight. They have national hockey tournaments, they have lacrosse, they got a couple of things going. But we want to thank you for having us here tonight. It is an honor to be here with so many great coaches and teams that achieve so many great things throughout the year. This year our hockey team went 21-4. We won our county tournament, we won our league, we won our league cup, we won a sectional title, and for the first time in school history, we won a public school state championship. As all of you know, playing a high school sport takes a lot of commitment, a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice, and that's not just over 1 year. It's over many, many years, and you're not often rewarded with the state championship the way we were this year. So all their hard work, all their dedication is much appreciated, and in what they've accomplished this year, and to be celebrated by the town the way they were over the last couple of weeks was tremendous. What I'm most proud of, not only is the accomplishments of these kids, but who they are as people up there. As coaches, we want to use the sport of hockey, in my instance, to create good, upstanding kids, and that's what I'm most proud of the kids that are in front of you today. Hockey is just going to be a small memory, a huge memory actually after this year in their life, but it helps shape them to be great people. They're going to do great things in the world. So that's what I am most proud of, to be here in front of you today. They wore the jersey so proudly. They carried themselves with such passion and honor. And if you were in the high school, you saw them wearing their suits and ties on game days. So they're really a special group. But I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. This is an honor. It's my first time doing this. Hopefully, many more to come. I want to thank the Board of Ed for all their support, Dr. Gonzalez for all their support, Mr. DeSarno for his support, and the entire Westfield community. Like I said, the way they've been celebrated over the last couple of weeks was something special. I do want to leave off on one final note, though. A lot of these kids learned how to ice skate and play hockey at the Westfield rink. And I think that it's important to recognize all the people that contributed to that rink and the support that we got for that rink, because who knows if we're here today without that rink. So all of you that supported that rink, we really appreciate that. It goes far into what they were able to become. But thank you for having us tonight. We appreciate you. Okay. Yeah, sure.
All right, I know hockey's heading over to Town Hall. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for the inspirational performance. Next up, another historic first. Proud to recognize our girls' winter track and field team. Who made history this season as the North 2 Group 4 sectional champions. Can you do it one more time? This marks the program's first ever indoor track and field sectional championship. Your commitment, perseverance, and teamwork have set a new benchmark for excellence in our athletic program. Congratulations on this incredible achievement. We look forward to hearing more about this historic victory. Again, as I call your name in alphabetical order, please come forward to receive a certificate of recognition and proceed onto the stage to await a photograph. Start with Ashley Cunningham. Quinlan Doherty. Emily Drennan. Bridget Garrett. Scarlett Goldman. Anna Kylish. Vanessa Larkin. Kira Lensner. Maya Nair. Jada Petrarca. Lily Petrie. Sorry. Emma Pranke. Alexis Ray. Darby Reebok. Livia Reyes. Isabel Rispoli. Morgan Samet. Claire Seawald. Olivia Thornton. Lydia Wright. Anna Youssef. Jessica Zhao. And a number of coaches. Coach Eric Anderson. Coach John Preston. Coach Marjana Bannock. Coach Sam Heyman. Coach Ricardo Johnson. Coach Jenna Priori. And last but not least, head coach Joe Berardi, who I invite to the podium to talk about the team's amazing season.
So thank you, members of the board, Dr. Gonzalez, all these great teams out here and coaches. I just want to thank you. This is a great historic year. I do want to kick it over. One of my assistants wanted to say a couple words, so just want to thank you guys, but I'm going to kick it over to Coach Heyman to say a few things about this team.
All right, I'm really up here because I got the biggest mouth, so really want to say a few thank yous first. Thanks to the board, obviously, for the recognition. Coach Asarno, he's always going to be Coach Asarno to me. Moving to the athletic department, a lot of support from him, as always. And I want to thank those young ladies over there, and especially the coach, because they allow us to throw her some gym time whenever we can get it, and it's appreciated, very much appreciated. So thank you, ladies, and congratulations. As far as this group of young women go, I guess when you do something for the first time, I guess there's a lot of reasons for it and why it never happened before. The best way I can sum this up, for those of you that really don't understand about how a track season works, kind of people all over the place. The throwers practice at the school, the runners are outside, the throwers go to different meets during the year. Really, the only times that we come together for meets are really the Union County Championship meets and the state meets. So the best way I can sum this up, and hopefully this is going to bring a lot of pride to you parents and you community members, is you got an awful lot of young women over there that assumed a lot of responsibility. And as young women, I think, and as young people, that's a really important characteristic to have. They assumed a lot of responsibility, and this was important to them. And I think that that's the best way I can sum up the success of this season. So thank you again.
All right, moving on. We are also celebrating our North 2 Group 4 sectional champion boys indoor track and field team. Who demonstrated remarkable strength, skill, and determination to capture their 4th straight sectional title. Your dedication to excellence and resilience in the face of competition have set a high standard for all. Congratulations on this outstanding accomplishment. We'll hear more in a moment from Coach Tefelsky, but first, you know the drill. Come forward, please, as I call your name. Start with Sam Braun. Christian Buonapane. Ryan Daly, who also won the 800 meter at the Meet of Champions. Alex Stavloros. Douglas G. Andrew Jokas. Brenton Hatch. Jack Hill. Liam Morris. Nella Sizwe and Lovu. Owen O'Connor. Tyler Petrovich. Charlie Prieto. Luke Romano. Noah Rubenstein. Jake Stinton. Caleb Steckman. Brody Torriello. Cole Varner. Jack Wallen. And our coaches, Coach Sam Heyman, Coach Ricardo Johnson, Coach Mariana Bannock. I got you. Coach Eric Anderson. Coach John Preston. Coach Jenna Priori. Volunteer Coach Kyle Muller. And Head Coach Chris Stefelski. Coach, you may or may not know you get a chance to speak at one of these meetings. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Right.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to recognize these guys and all these teams and their achievements, and to have so many teams, not just in this winter season, but in the fall season too. I think we in Westfield we can be spoiled a little bit with all the things that our kids accomplish, but this is really abnormal. Like the number of championships that Westfield teams bring in on a yearly basis. It's easy to it's easy to kind of feel like they're expected, but every single one of them is its own unique story. But it starts with the support that we get from the community, from our board, from our administration, the support that Coach Heyman referenced a little while ago, with the support between coaching staffs of different sports, the relationships that we build, and the things. A lot of us work with kids who do a lot of different sports in different seasons over the course of the year, and sort of watch them develop over their time with us. We know that it's not just us doing that. If they're involved in other sports programs, they're learning and developing skills in other places, and they're bringing them in, and they're benefiting us because they're spending time elsewhere in the athletic department. So we really that also is not normal at a lot of schools. I know a lot of coaches at a lot of places who do not enjoy the relationships that we enjoy here, both among the teams, kid-wise, and among the coaches as well. This year's group of kids, we're acutely aware of the number of graduates that we had last year. There's a lot of chatter about that. Not all positive comments that we'd overheard about how difficult things might be, but never underestimate what a year of work and a year of progress can get you. We had a lot of guys. Some of these guys are here for their 11th season with our program, or their 7th season with our program in track and field. Some of these guys are up here for the very first time as their first season guy, and each of them was interested in filling a role, knowing that there were going to be some openings that were vacated by last year's seniors, and knowing that there were opportunities for them to try out some different events. Maybe they ended up in events in the state meets that they didn't really want to do, but they did anyway for the good of the group. And in the end, they all have a championship to show for it, and they're going to get numbers up on the banner in the gym, and they're going to share that forever. So we're tremendously so proud of them. Coaching staff is second to none. The family support that we get is tremendous. So we're very fortunate to do what we do here, to work in this town with these kids. So thank you so much.
All right, one more. Finally, we are excited to recognize our girls' basketball team for their incredible performance in capturing the North 2 Group 4 Sectional Championship, the program's second ever sectional title. Through grit, teamwork, and relentless drive, you've proven what's possible when you come together as a team. More from Coach McKean in a moment, but I'll call each of you up alphabetically. We'll start with Katie Carianopoulos. Kate Simbor. Maren Fowler. Lila Hafer. Darby Hubner. Katie Lane. Sophie Lane. Megan Logan. Molly McDermott. Catherine Oliveira. Laura Oliveira. Peyton Reed. Team manager Kate Fisher. Team manager Kayla Rose Redding. Coach Brian Simonecki. Coach Zach Warswick. And head coach Liz McKeon. Coach McKeon, the podium's yours.
Well, I was not prepared with a speech. We also have our banquet tomorrow night, and so I'm pretty sure these kids don't want to hear me talk for an extended period of time. But I do want to honor them. First, I want to thank our parents. We have an amazing group of parents that have raised an amazing group of young women. Their support, not only throughout the season, but all year, taking these kids all over the country, not only to play basketball, to play soccer, to play lacrosse, to play whatever makes them happy and just makes them tremendous athletes and teammates. We also want to thank everyone that has stepped foot into the gym, that has come to support us. Girls' sports don't really get the recognition that boys' sports usually get. Lucky for us, the basketball program is kept in our family, so we do a good job of supporting each other. This team right here is something special. They were, our program had a pretty good year a couple years ago, and everyone's like, oh, you guys are going to stink, it's a rebuilding year, all this stuff. And we had some growing pains last year, but this team, everyone standing here before you, they fought, and they fought hard for 10 wins last year. And to come back in less than a year and to win 24 games, the second most in program history, is admirable. It's because of their work ethic, their unselfishness, just wanting to win for each other, and it all starts with our seniors. Katie in Carianopoulos has been on this team since she was a freshman. She knows what it's like to win. This kid is leaving Westfield High School with 5 sectional championships and 2 state championships from 2 different teams. You should clap for that. Yeah. Those are team sports that she was a leader for. Laura Oliveira has also been part of our program for 4 years and has been a tremendous leader, both on and off the court. And then not too many teams get this reward, in my mind, to have a manager. Kate Fisher. She played her freshman year. We asked her to help out when her season was over with our state championship team, and it turned into a role that she has now perfected. She's not a kid that just does the stats and keeps the book, which is, by the way, extremely important in a basketball game. She has taken the role of just owning this team and being a leader, and doing and putting the effort in that most kids, just want to show up, be part of a team, maybe get a varsity letter, but she earned it. So like I said, this team, 24 wins, a sectional championship that we knew we were going to win, but shocked the state of New Jersey when we knocked off number 8 Bayonne, who have 3,000-point scorers and three girls going to play D1 basketball. To beat them on their home court was something special. And as a coach who's been doing this for many years, definitely one of the proudest and happiest moments I've had as a coach and for them. So again, extremely proud of this team. Girls sports rule. You guys should watch it more. Alabama, Michigan, double overtime, one of the greatest girls basketball games ever last night. I highly recommend. More things going on. But everybody should give a round of applause. And also thank you to my staff, because I'm a unique individual, and Brian and Zach do their best to support me, and they do a great job. So thank you to them, and thank you to these girls. So.
All right, we will move on to announcements. We'll start with CJ.
The Franklin School community received a generous grant from Sustainable Jersey for Schools and the New Jersey Education Association in the amount of $10,000. The grant funding will be used to transform an underutilized space into the future Franklin Hub, described by Principal Dr. Paul Duncan as what will become a vibrant, welcoming, and accessible outdoor learning and community space.
Excellent. Layla?
I have the one with all the names today, so bear with me. I'm going to do my best. 15 Westfield students were honored by the National College Board Recognition Program, which recognizes strong academic performances of students who belong to communities historically underrepresented on college campuses. This non-scholarship program celebrates high-achieving students of African American, Hispanic, and Indigenous descent, as well as those from rural and small towns and first-generation college families. Congratulations to the following students. For the National Hispanic Recognition Program, Sofia Basaldua, Sebastian Cabrera, Jacob Correa, Anna Luxinger, Nicholas Lucas, Jorge Mendoza, Gabriela Mercado, Sean Rao, Julianne Robinson, Andres Phillips Vasquez. For the National African American Recognition Program, Eden Forbes and Kanya Netmatadzira. For the National First Generation Recognition Program, Madison Tacticos and Matthew Zhang. And for the National Indigenous Recognition Program, Seth Becker.
Mary?
Congratulations to National Merit Finalist Garrett Gow. Garrett joins other high-achieving high school students nationwide being considered for scholarships by the 2025 National Merit Scholarship Program, which will be announced over the next few months.
Kent?
Thank you. Don't miss the opportunity to nominate a deserving educator or staff member for the Rotary and Optimistic Club Awards. The deadlines for nominations is coming up this Friday, March 28th. Details, including nominating forms, are posted on the news section of the district website. And secondly, all parents of students in pre-kindergarten through grade 12 are invited to a mental health symposium this Thursday, March 27th at 6 p.m. right here at Westfield High School. This free event is organized by the district's Student Assistant Coordinators, or SACs. If you did not get a chance to pre-register, you are still welcome to attend, so come on down. Make sure to enter through the high school's back door off Rawway Avenue. Thank you.
Brennan?
Yep. All Westfield public schools will be closed for spring break from Monday, April 14th through Monday, April 21st. Not on my announcement, but the election is April 15th. So if you're going to be away, please request an absentee ballot.
Kristen?
Congratulations to the cast, crew, directors, and parent volunteers who worked so hard this year in the spring musicals. The Edison and Roosevelt Theater Departments presented Shrek the Musical and Rock of Ages, respectively, while the Westfield High School Theater Department presented Smile. Each performance was well attended by enthusiastic audiences, including members of the district's Golden Pass program for residents 65 and older. All productions provided students with opportunities to grow in roles both on stage and backstage. And sorry. And I'm actually very excited about my announcement because I got to see Smile, and I just want to say we have unbelievable talent in our schools.
Sonal?
The next regular public meeting of the Board of Education will be on Tuesday, April 29th in Cafeteria B at Westfield High School, beginning at 7 p.m. The meeting will be live streamed via the district YouTube channel, which viewers can access on the Board tab on the district website. The complete agenda will be available on Friday, April 25th, also on the Board tab. We look forward to welcoming and celebrating our talented intermediate and high school musicians.
I actually have one. It is just 21 days until the April 15th vote on the bond referendum, an additional spending proposal for the 2025-26 district operating budget. We'll hear more from Dr. Gonzalez in a moment, but make sure to check your email inboxes for his weekly updates and visit the budget and bond portal at westfieldnjk12.org/vote on the district and school websites for all the details. Also, as the April 15th vote occurs during spring break, a date selected by the state, please be sure to apply for a mail-in ballot and return the application to the Union County Clerk's office no later than April 8th. The ballot and additional instructions are available on the How to Vote page on the Budget and Bond portal. And with that, we'll move to a report by District Administration.
Great, thank you very much. Before we begin, I'm going to ask Ms. Ramos if she has any updates to the agenda this evening.
Yes, there was one revision to the agenda to note. In item A for under governance, one HIB was added. It is incident 287088 FES 02052025. And it's noted as item 5.
Okay, thank you. Before we jump into tonight's presentation on the annual operating budget and the final bond referendum questions, I want to use the opportunity to share some reflections on the journey that's brought us here to this moment. In 2021, I joined the Westfield Public School District, an exceptional district with a proud tradition of excellence. And as a new superintendent, I asked myself, how can I add anything to this already established legacy and help to propel the district forward? And what followed was an incredible partnership between the board, the administration, and the community to tackle some complex challenges, many of which were centered around really defining our goals and aspirations, as well as establishing a financial future. In my first year, we faced the fiscal cliff head on when our expenses outpaced our revenues, forcing us to make some pretty difficult budget cuts. It was a wake-up call and a moment of resolve for all of us, where we committed to never have to do that again. That's when the board made the thoughtful decision to return to the annual budget vote in April and return the opportunity to partner with the community, ensuring that all taxpayers could once again have a direct voice in how we fund our schools. But our efforts didn't stop there. Together, we embarked on a year-long strategic planning process, which culminated in the board's adoption of a 2023 to 2028 five-year strategic plan. This plan, rooted in input from over 3,300 students, staff, parents, and residents, established our collective goals and aspirations. It became our roadmap for advancing the Westfield education's future with innovation, sustainability, and inclusion at the core. Since then, we've made tremendous progress. We've prioritized student wellness and academic achievement by adding counselors, academic support teachers, and enrichment specialists. We've reinvested in our school's safety with increased security staffing, as well as the upkeep of our facilities by the addition of buildings and grounds personnel. We've launched a coordinated approach to curriculum development, instructional resources, professional development, and assessment to assure alignment that meets the needs of all learners. We've expanded access to educational technology while developing a multi-tiered system of support to meet every student's need in a comprehensive and holistic way. These aren't just isolated initiatives, they are steps in a larger deliberative effort to fulfill our strategic plan. Which brings us to tonight. The operating budget being voted on this evening and the two bond referendum questions going out to voters on April 15th represent our shared commitment to the long-term success of the Westfield students. As outlined in Goal 5 of the strategic plan, we pledged to develop annual budgets that support our priorities. We pledged to ensure ongoing investments in facilities, security, and technology. And we pledged to pursue a bond referendum to address critical facility needs and program expansions, including full-day kindergarten. We are now at the threshold of fulfilling that promise. The bond referendum includes two questions: to address significant overdue capital improvements across our schools, including HVAC, restroom upgrades, adding an additional instructional space, and more. We also added a second question to introduce and sustain a path to finally bring full-day kindergarten to our community. An opportunity that reflects the strong desire of our families and the ability to join the rest of this state in offering this opportunity to our earliest learners. This is not a simple undertaking. It takes years of planning, dozens, if not more, of community meetings and presentations, advisory groups, surveys, thought exchanges, and countless hours of collaborative work. What we are presenting tonight reflects what this community values and what our children deserve. I am proud of the transparency, the engagement, and the shared vision that have guided us to this point. While this is our final public board meeting before the April 15th vote, our work is far from done. We have multiple community engagement events scheduled, along with informational print and digital outreach efforts that will lead us up to April 15th. All we ask is that the Westfield community continues to stay invested, stay informed, and make your voice heard. While the timing of the April 15th vote isn't ideal, we're fully committed to doing whatever we can to ensure the greatest voter turnout possible. Thank you for your ongoing support, trust, and partnership. It's a privilege to lead this district with you. Now let's transition to the formal presentation of the 2025-26 operating budget and the upcoming bond referendum. So we're going to begin the presentation this evening to debut publicly at a board meeting the referendum video that has been compiled and shared through each of our community engagement experiences. In the early stages of our community engagement presentations, this was a draft video because we didn't have all the data necessary to complete all the slides. So instead we had placeholders in the video, but we would walk through and talk through those experiences. This video is now complete. It's posted on our website. It was included in the latest community update, and we'd like to share it this evening with all of you.
Collaborative spaces that support group projects, student research, club gatherings, and other activities. At Westfield High School, the auditorium will receive a complete makeover with new seating, electrical, lighting, and sound systems, and with modernized restrooms. Improving our learning environments will make our schools more functional and support better experiences for students.
We also need more instructional space to effectively serve current and future students. Like many school districts in the country, Westfield has an increased need for the kind of one-on-one or small group instruction that helps students catch up, keep up, or get ahead academically. We already struggle to find appropriate space for individualized learning. Some of it happens in hallway nooks, former copy rooms, or converted supply closets. We need more space for these services now. We must also prepare for more learning space as current families grow and new families move into town.
Westfield needs additional classrooms to accommodate rising enrollment and to meet the goal of expanding our kindergarten program. Over the past 2 decades, state academic requirements have steadily increased, making it harder for our half-day program to include exploratory play and other unstructured time that's so important for social development. Nearly every school district in New Jersey already provides full-day kindergarten. When compared to full-day programs, Westfield's half-day provides students with about 180 fewer hours of instruction in core academic subjects. With a full-day program, math would gain 32 hours, and language arts would gain 95 hours of instructional time per year. Time earmarked for science and social studies would more than double.
For our youngest students and those with different learning needs, expanded instructional space means the opportunity for a strong foundation. Establishing proper learning environments for students with special needs aligns with that commitment. Our plan includes renovating spaces to better serve those students. In some cases, programs would move to entirely new classrooms designed and built for individualized learning. Westfield cannot expand to full-day kindergarten without more classrooms, which is a key component of the bond referendum. We would also need more teachers. We will ask voters to fund staffing for full-day kindergarten in a future budget proposal. Westfield uses several financial planning tools, and a bond referendum is one of them. That's because selling bonds would provide upfront funding for long-term improvements like building additions. It can also qualify Westfield for a special kind of state aid. The state of New Jersey has committed millions of dollars in financial aid toward these proposed projects. Continual repairs and renovations are always part of our annual operating budget, but we don't get this kind of aid for projects accomplished through that budget. That's why bond funding is the most economical way to afford large and necessary capital needs, such as heating and cooling improvements and restroom renovations.
And this debt servicing comes from the state's annual budget, a funding source every taxpayer already pays into. That's right, the critical advantage of state aid would bring taxpayer funds back to Westfield. Investment in long-term solutions can ensure safe, modern learning spaces that truly support the needs of students and staff.
The Westfield Public School District will hold a bond referendum and budget vote on April 15th. Every registered voter can cast a ballot by mail or in person. Mail-in ballots will be extra convenient for this bond and budget vote. The vote date of Tuesday, April 15th is during the school district's spring break. Voters might be out of town and school might be out of mind. It's never too early to send in the application for a vote by mail ballot, but there are deadlines that make it too late. To get a ballot sent to you, be sure your application for a ballot is in the county clerk's office no later than April 8th. The deadline is a little later if you want to submit your application in person. And you can even get a ballot, fill it out, and turn it in all at the same time. The legal steps to put these questions on a ballot are complicated. Because of that, the county won't be able to send vote by mail ballots to Westfield residents until the first week of April. Be on the lookout for yours and act quickly to send back your ballot. It must be postmarked or placed in a designated drop box by April 15th, and it cannot be brought to an in-person poll. To vote in person, know which location is your assigned polling place and make a plan to get there on Tuesday, April 15th. Whichever way you plan to vote, be sure you start by learning about the issues on the ballot. The website is full of information and visuals, and it has a schedule of multiple in-person and remote opportunities to learn more. You'll see forms and deadlines for how to vote with links to the mail-in ballot application.
Remember, the ballot includes different funding tools used strategically to best meet the district's needs. The district operating budget for the 2025-26 school year will maintain our current educational standards and daily operations. Bond funding would modernize existing facilities and add instructional space for current and future Westfield students. Westfield enrollment is growing and educational needs are evolving. The April 15th vote includes proposals to meet this moment with the opportunity to bring tax dollars back home through an approved referendum. This plan represents what Westfield is all about, making sure all students have the resources to reach their full potential each and every day. We want to continue building strong foundations for the bright futures that every Westfield student deserves.
Yeah, Kent and I both noticed you had your Westfield tie on. I didn't even notice it the first time I saw it.
Thank you for noticing. So we've been talking about this referendum for several months now. We've been discussing it, we've been presenting it. So we figured this would be a great way to summarize it all in the final steps before April 15th. So our presentation this evening really is just going to highlight the key points in addition to the video that we just saw. The key points being that on April 15th, that the ballot is going to include 4 important decisions. The first is going to be a vote on the additional spending proposal associated with the annual budget for the 2025-26 school year. Then we'll have two questions related to the bond referendum. The first will be consist of all the items associated with the large-scale facilities improvements. That includes upgraded HVAC systems, restrooms, additional or renovated instructional spaces, as well as looking at media centers, relocation of main offices for some schools, as well as the refurbishment of the high school auditorium. We also have on the ballot the election of school board candidates as well. So 4 big decisions that this community is going to have to weigh in on. Regarding the budget, as mentioned previously, but also to recap, everything that I described in my opening comments really highlight all the work that has been taking place over the last several years as we've continued to rebuild our programs and our supports and services for students. Through the allocation of funds each year and the approval of those funds by the community, those funds then become our new base, allowing us to create a more sustainable future for our school district and the initiatives that we have in store. So the 2025-2026 operating budget allows us to continue those programs and initiatives in alignment with our strategic plan. It allows us to continue our current staffing model to make sure that our programs and offerings are consistent from this year to next. We are also looking to implement new master schedules at the secondary level, and this budget allows for that to happen. And then we look at how we use our existing operating budget as well as our reserve accounts, our maintenance and capital reserve accounts, to continue to provide needed maintenance and enhancements to our facilities. And all of that continues to be included in each of the questions that you'll see on this page. So in our base budget, the base budget will not exceed the 2.92% tax levy cap, which includes any allowable adjustments, as Patty has shared over the past several board meetings. But all of our curriculum writing, our professional development, all of the resources associated with our curricular and academic experiences continue to be funded and are included in that base budget. We also have the addition of 2 drivers. We've talked about the purchase of vehicles, transportation vehicles, in the forms of 2 large buses. Now, this budget will include the drivers for those 2 buses. The continuation of our furniture replenishment that started last year with a line item that allowed us to upgrade and replace all student and staff furniture in first grade now is continuing into the second grade. And if we can keep this pace up, and if the full-day kindergarten question is approved, by the time our full-day kindergarten comes online, all of our elementary classrooms will have received new upgraded furniture and classroom refreshes. Again, all through strategic budgeting and planning. And then, as mentioned, the cafeteria equipment and furniture necessary to implement the secondary schedule, and especially here at the high school, where we would move to a single unit block lunch. So what does that mean? It means that everything that's included in that base budget can't accommodate everything that we need. And what spills over then becomes the additional spending proposal. And in this case, the additional spending proposal, which will be voted on April 15th, includes everything that we saw, plus the additional 2 elementary teachers, 1 intermediate teacher, and then health benefits for those staff members. So again, the base budget will be approved, included everything that I just said, and the additional funding proposal only includes the 3 teachers and their benefits. So I'm going to hand it off to Patty to talk about the tax impact.
Okay, so what does that now equate to in numbers? The estimated tax impact for the base budget, which the board is voting on tonight, is $207, based on an average assessed home in Westfield of $826,700. Once that's voted on tonight, it will become final. It won't go to the voters. That's the final vote tonight. The additional spending proposal, which is the $302,734, which, as Dr. Gonzalez stated, represents 3 staff members and their health benefits, equates to an annual tax increase of $33 for an average house, which is only $3 a month for that. So the next slide we go to shows our bar graph that we've been showing over the last couple of years since we've moved to the April vote. So as Dr. Gonzalez said, the blue represents our base budget. It's the state's 2% cap plus our allowable adjustments, which we got one this year for health benefits. The additions in the red are that $302,000. We'd also like to highlight, as we have in the past, that when we received the additional state aid this year, we took that extra $500,000 and applied it to the additional spending proposal. We didn't look to spend any more money. We just looked to reduce the tax levy for residents with the additional funding that we received. Now we get to the actual ballot language question. This one's not as bad as the referendum ones, but it is required language by the state, so it does specifically state the retention of the teachers and their health benefits. It is important to note that nowhere on here does it show the estimated tax impact, the monthly cost. It's just the total dollar amount the taxpayers will vote on. And it has to state that the taxes will result in a permanent increase to the tax base, so that next year we're basing our 2% off of this 3.18% combined instead of just the 2.92%. And then the last statement is just that we cannot put any mandated cost into the additional spending proposal. So the last statement says that we have not done that, that everything that is required by New Jersey student learning standards is in the budget at cap.
So now we move on to the bond referendum. Since the last meeting, we actually have had a lot of progress. The district finally received our PEC letters, which is the official New Jersey Department of Education project eligibility costs that identify what portion of our projects would then qualify for state aid. And we are pleased to report that up to $57.5 million in debt service aids was identified, and you'll see that breakout across the two questions in a few slides. We continue to engage in our voter education campaigns through in-person as well as virtual presentations and information that is shared through a variety of means, including, and I'm thankful to our media partners who have also engaged in conversations to help us get the word out to our community. So thank you. We've also continued to update our Westfield portal online with additional details that include all the final financials that I just shared. The tax impact estimators have also been added so that individuals not only have the ability to look at the average impact, but you could also look up your assessed home value. And the key is assessed home value, not your Zillow value, not any other value that you find online other than the assessed home value, in order to determine the estimated impact on you as an individual. We also have added school-by-school project lists, the ballot language that we're reviewing this evening, as well as additional explainer videos and information on how to vote. And we're continually adding to our frequently asked questions resource as well, based upon ongoing questions that we've received over the course of this journey. So as you've heard multiple times, and I will continue to add to the chorus, please apply for your mail-in ballots if you do not expect to be around on April 15th, which falls during spring break. So this slide has been added and it has been used consistently in order to really summarize in a single visual what the scope of this referendum includes. Everything in the orange represents everything that will exist in question one. The HVAC upgrades, the restroom renovations, the increased space necessary for small group instruction or expansion, as well as additional multi-purpose rooms that would be necessary at both Franklin and Jefferson because of the size of their enrollments. We're also looking to relocate the main offices at Jefferson and McKinley to be more closely situated near the front door. And then, as mentioned in previous presentations and the video, looking to renovate and modernize our media centers at the middle schools and high school. We've also included an update to the WHS auditorium here. We've recently updated the auditoriums at Roosevelt and Edison, so this would complete that, that renovation process here at the high school. And then the second list of items are all the items that would appear in bond question 2, and those are all the items necessary to renovate and construct the classroom space necessary to bring full-day K to Westfield. Now, one item that we've mentioned before, and we want to make sure that we continue to be as transparent as possible, is that as it relates to full-day K, we want to make sure that people understand that this is a commitment that requires a two-step approval. The first step is to construct the actual space necessary to provide the classrooms to accommodate all the students that wish to attend a full-day program in our district. So we are projecting, based upon our first grade enrollments, what our kindergarten needs would be, and we want to make sure that we could accommodate every student who would need a seat. But in order to actually operationalize full-day kindergarten, we not only need space, but we need people. We need staff members who would teach in those spaces. We need staff members who would be able to provide the necessary supports to those teachers in order to accommodate the increases to all of our schools. So when we look at our operating budget down the road, a future operating budget would require an additional vote in order to accommodate those staff. So I just want to make sure that people are aware of that and that people understand that committing to one requires a commitment down the road. So our ballot question framework, which we shared before and which I just summarized, shows all of those items listed in the first referendum question for a grand total of $188 million as a total cost. And then Patty will break down what that means when you apply the debt service aid and what that estimated impact would be. So everything I talked about in those orange dots. On the second question are those construction and renovations associated with implementing full-day kindergarten at a total of $37 million. So when we break that down as a tax impact based upon each of those questions, Patty will walk us through.
Okay, so here's the tax impact for the average assessed homes in Westfield for each question. As Dr. Gonzalez mentioned, each question is standalone. They're not linked together. One can pass without the other. It's also, I'd also like to highlight that the taxes will not increase next year if this gets voted on, if both questions pass in April. This money only, the tax impact only hits when we start to issue the bonds, the year after that, actually. So when we issue bonds in let's say another year, year and a half, the following year would be the first year of payments back where your taxes would then increase. And it would be, the first year would be a lower amount, then it would go up. So these numbers are averages over the course of a 30-year bond estimated at a 4.15% interest rate. And as Dr. Gonzalez said, we did receive a $57 million, a guarantee from the state of up to 40% of the costs, their costs on the projects, and I'll get to that in the next slides. So what that equates to in bond question 1, since it has more of the renovations, it's $55 million in debt service aid. This is one of the few times that Westfield can get money back from the state to do work. There's not many opportunities for this in a town like Westfield. So what that entails is when we issue the bonds each year, when we get state aid in February, there's a separate sheet that comes on the end and it tells me the debt service aid for the year based on projects that have been done in the past. So for this year, for instance, in our Fund 40, our debt service fund, we have debt service aid of $600,000. That's from prior bond issuances. So every year they're guaranteed to give us that money and we get it each February to pay the principal and interest for the following year. So for bond question 1, the estimated annual tax impact is $785, which comes out to be roughly $65 a month. For the full day kindergarten, which is $37 million, the debt service aid is $2.1 million. Now that's a lower percentage on that. And that's because full day kindergarten, most of that question is additions and not renovations. And the state funds renovations at 40% of cost. Additions are at 40% of $143 per square foot. Actual construction costs for additions are $700 a square foot. So the tax impact for question 2 is $196, the annual is $196 for the average taxpayer, which equates to $16 a month. Now, when we go into the next slides, we get to the legalese, the real Rob's favorite term that I've been using at every presentation, the legalese. This first part, it's multiple slides for each question. The first slide shows that for question 1 of the bond referendum, that we're adding 47,966 square feet of additions and the renovations to all the schools that are included in question 1. And it states that the projects are valued at $188 million. That's the maximum amount of bonds that I can issue. When you go to the next slide now, this is where it starts to get more interesting. Then the state takes that $188 million, and as I said, they only count new construction at $143 a square foot. So this next slide shows that the state says the final eligible costs are actually $138 million. It's state math. So they knock the cost down to $138 million and base the state aid off of that number. That's why we're not getting 40% of $225 million. We're getting 40% off of their eligible costs. So that is something that if you have any questions, please reach out. I've been asking everyone, because there will be some confusion in reading this if you just walk up to the ballot, that you go to vote that day and you don't understand what's behind it. So the state has committed the debt service percentage aid will equal 40% of the final eligible costs on the projects in question 1. The only part of the project that they did not allow was $999,000, and that is the drop-off loop at the front of the high school. That was the only thing they excluded from the projects, from the 40%. So now we go to question 2, and you'll see the first slide is very similar to the first one. It shows the square footage of the additions and the total $37 million that we're going to spend for the full-day kindergarten. The next slide, we get into the final eligible costs, and this is where you can really see the dramatic difference by counting it at $143 a square foot. Since question 2 is mostly additions, it goes from $37 million to their eligible costs of $5.5 million or $5.3 million, and they base the 40% off of that $5.3 million. It's also important to note in question 2, because these questions are standalone, if question 1 was to fail and question 2 passes for full-day kindergarten, we couldn't put some things in both questions, like hallways. We couldn't add it into both. It would inflate the cost. So those hallways and different connections like that are in question 1. So if question 2 passes and question 1 doesn't, we will need to use $5.5 million from capital reserve to build those items. So that is noted in this ballot proposal also. Everything has to be there. I also like to note in our presentations that we can only do the work that's in these projects. So if the moon and stars align and instead of $225 million, we go out to bid and it comes in at $200 million or $175 million, we can't come back to the board and say, hey, we got some great other projects, we'd like to throw some other things in there. We can't do that. All we can do is what's been specified in these projects to the state. We cannot add anything else but what the taxpayers voted on. The money, if we did issue bonds that we didn't need for costs, would be given back to the taxpayers in future budgets. So then we have the interpretive statement, which is also very clear. I mean, that's just clears up every matter, which does show the $225 million, but then does become confusing again because it says the total cost of the projects is $225 million, but the final eligible costs are $143 million. So again, that's the state math of the $143 per square foot. And it is highlighted we've highlighted everywhere we can that we're getting 40% of those eligible costs, because we always want to highlight if these questions don't pass and we need to save up money in our capital reserve fund and do these projects on our own, we will be paying 100% of the cost, the taxpayers of Westfield. There is no aid when we do capital reserve projects. That's why we try to do projects that are middle of the line, think smaller projects. These large ones, it makes sense to go to the state, to go to bond on this and get the money back. Now, the estimated tax impact. So this next slide shows our operating budget and the bond referendum, so you can see everything all together. So for the base budget, which is being voted on tonight, like we said, it's $207. The additional spending proposal is $33 for a total operating budget of increase of $240 to the average taxpayer. Bond question 1 is $785 for the average taxpayer, and question 2 is $196. As Dr. Gonzalez said, it's important to go online and use the tax estimate calculators that we have up, because a lot of people don't have homes that are valued at $826,000. I mean, the average home is, but there are a lot of people that live in Westfield that don't have that. And we've been hearing that in our presentations when they come up and they said, oh, I ran it and it's much different for me. My house is not valued at that. So it is important to go on there and check your home.
So just real quick to recap on this slide, what you'll recall is that the budget vote and bond referendum, while they're both voted on April 15th, they do run parallel processes, both of which result in the Board of Education voting to approve the amounts and the language, which will happen this evening, and both will be voted on April 15th. So it's amazing how this slide has evolved over time. At a point, it didn't seem like things were moving because it was just taking forever to get the information. But we finally got the release of state aid. We finally received the budget preliminary approval, as well as notification of debt service aid for the bond referendum, so that we've made it to the finish line of this process. The board will vote this evening on their final base budget, their additional spending proposal, as well as the bond referendum ballot language that will all be included on April 15th. And then on April 15th, we have officially handed off this decision-making to the community. So I, again, want to thank all members of the Board of Education for their support, their communication, their commitment. I want to thank all members of the administration and the school community who have come out to help create a proposal that truly reflects the needs of this community, the aspirations of this community, and the opportunities for our students to continue to move our tradition of excellence forward. So over the next few weeks, 21 days, I think was the latest count, we will continue our efforts to inform the community through our ongoing presentations, our informal gatherings. We'll be at Lincoln tomorrow doing a superintendent coffee, again, just to be able to meet people where they are, to be able to answer their questions. We will continue to share information through weekly bond and budget updates, through our principals, community newsletters, through our social media feeds, really encouraging everyone to stay connected and stay informed. And I am also going to deputize everyone who's watching this evening as well to make sure that they become the goodwill ambassadors to help get this message out there, to let your voice be heard on April 15th. We encourage everyone. This is a big deal. This is a big decision, and we want to make sure that the entire community weighs in on that. So with that subtle last slide, we will conclude our presentation this evening and certainly open it up for any questions by the board.
Go for it.
Okay. I mean, I'm just going to say thank you again to Patty and Ray. I don't have any questions. Not that I don't love it, but I've heard it about like 10 times. And but thank you again, and thank you again for going out so often in the community to get the word out there. I think that's been really great.
In addition to saying thank you, I also want to say I'm very excited for this. I don't even have kids in the school system here anymore, but I'm still very excited to see this come to fruition.
I'll add a word of thanks as well. And Dr. Gonzalez went through a whole list of things that have been going on that got us to this point. That doesn't happen without the right team in place. And I want to say thank you to Dr. Gonzalez and his team, many of whom are in newer roles than from even when Kristen and Mary and I first started on the board 3 years ago. There's been a lot of change. And we were talking about this, just the three of us, the change in education, people say, happens very, very slowly. This board has challenged that because of the litany of things that have changed, both from curriculum, from how we're doing our budgeting, from how we're doing community outreach. Years ago, we weren't doing road shows. We were thinking about our budget in a reactionary way. What do we have to do? What do we have to fix? Not what are we going to plan for the future? We weren't partnering with the community as much. We were trying to find different ways to get things done kind of within ourselves. But now I've decided to expand out to be true partners with the community. Tell us what you think, vote on this stuff, give us the opportunity to work. There really isn't an area of the district that hasn't been touched and improved in some way over the last few years. And that just does not happen without the right team in place. So I am very hopeful to see that this team gets out again and comes together again, just as we have been, to get this hopefully out to the public and to encourage them to come out and vote. I'm very much hoping to have this team together to implement all the rest of this, because we're talking about all this great stuff, but if all of it passes in April, we've got a lot of work to do. And I'm certainly looking forward to it, and I hope everybody else is here as well. So thank you all for the support. Thanks to every one of you for the support, and thanks to the community for coming out. And with that, James, the high school student report.
Good evening. This past weekend, the cast and crew of the theater department put on 3 amazing shows of Smile. This was a lot of our seniors' last performances in theater, and they all did an amazing job. All 3 nights were filled with great acting, singing, and dancing. Also coming up, Student Government and Community Service Club have been continuing to plan for our week of service, along with starting the election process for next year. All of the toiletries generously donated are being packaged and delivered to homerooms so that students can assemble them before they are sent to those in need. SGA would like to thank all those who contributed to our Amazon wish list for these supplies. Students will also be writing cards to senior citizens and service members. Despite the wish list closing, there are still ways for members of the WHS community to get involved in the week of service. We will be holding a book drive the week of April 7th, with donations being made to the Bridge of Books Foundation and the Westfield Memorial Library. Overall, Westfield is very excited for the upcoming week of service and spring break ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll go from report by Curriculum Instruction and Programs. Kristen?
Good evening. SIP met on Monday, the 24th, so yesterday, to discuss several important topics regarding curriculum and opportunities for students. The meeting began with a presentation by the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, Matt Bolton, and our K-12 Director of Counseling, Fallon Balasone. And it was on the Westfield High School's College Connections and Pathways program. This presentation highlighted the dual enrollment opportunities currently available at Westfield High School, which allows them to earn college credit while still in high school. And dual enrollment courses also provide the district with key enhancements to course curriculum and professional development for our course instructors. Currently, the district offers dual enrollment courses through Kane University with our Holocaust and Genocide Studies course, and the University of Delaware through the Entrepreneurship course. The district is expanding its dual enrollment offerings and was recently accepted to the Syracuse University Project Advance, which is also known as SUPA. Beginning next year, the entrepreneurship course will transition to being offered through SUPA, and the district is exploring additional innovative courses from SUPA's catalog for future implementation. Additionally, Mrs. Balasone and Dr. Bolton provided an update on the district's research into developing a partnership with Union College to provide students with future opportunities in college coursework and their certificate programs. Following this presentation, the K-12 Language Arts Supervisor, Liz Riley, reviewed several recently revised high school language art curricula. The updated courses reflect a strategic scope and sequence designed to develop students as thoughtful readers, writers, speakers, and critical thinkers, while also engaging with contemporary issues in a meaningful way. These updated curricula will be on the April Board of Education agenda for formal adoption. Liz and her team are currently refining the documents to ensure alignment between course objectives, English skills development, and unit descriptions. This evening, the board will vote on the adoption of the new K through 5 social studies curriculum, which we reported on last month. And then finally, the committee reviewed and approved an overnight field trip request for 3 members of the Westfield High School DECA Club who have qualified to compete at the DECA National Competition in Orlando, Florida. The next meeting for SIP will take place on April 28th, at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Excellent. Brendan, for report on finance and facilities.
Yep. Finance and Facilities met on Friday. We talked about the budget. I'm not going to mention any more about that tonight. We've heard enough. We were able to review the preliminary award letters from the state. And what took the state 150 days, I was able to figure out in an hour before the last board meeting, and I was only off by 0.5%. So I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. Final ballot language is on the agenda tonight. Finance item number 1, or number 2, sorry. Finance item number 1 is approval of the budget for submission to the county. We have advertised available positions for bus drivers now that we have 2 buses. Our second bus was delivered on St. Patrick's Day, so we're calling it the Paddy Wagon. And the last item of note on the agenda, or on the finance agenda for tonight, is that Rob, Dr. G, and Patty have met with the town several times concerning shared services agreements, and we have that shared services agreement for the management and maintenance of Roosevelt Field. As the town already maintains Clark Park, their equipment will already be there. It was a very logical first step for a shared services agreement. So the town council is voting on that tonight as well. So we'll see who gets to vote first, but that's it for finance report.
Any questions? I'll just add to that very briefly. I talked about all the great things that this board has started to do together, but one of the things really that I want to highlight is taking stuff that's been talked about for a long time and bringing it to action. And this shared services agreement is one of those things. In addition to talking about this particular agreement that's going to affect Roosevelt, we also discussed a number of other items with the town that are in discussion phases. Part of the shared services is also going to be the town assisting in maintenance of some of our vehicles. I think gas as well, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I'm off on that one.
We get our gas from them.
We get our gas from the town too. So, we talk about taxpayers and tax dollars, right? But from our perspective, it's what percentage of a tax dollar is under the board's purview, what percentage under the town's purview. From a taxpayer perspective, they just know it's their dollar. And what they want to make sure is that the different governing entities are using that dollar in the wisest possible fashion. So shared services is yet another way we can do that. We're talking about bringing things in-house from a budgetary perspective to save, but now, shared services and having a great working relationship with the town is another way to do that. Also part of that meeting was a discussion about different pilot funds that are coming online. Certainly the aid with the help with Roosevelt is going to come from some of the existing pilot dollars that are here. And we also have a commitment to discuss future pilot dollars to aid in operations at the school, not just operations, but potentially as offsets for the bond referendum as well. Obviously, a lot of those things are still under discussion, but, we really have gotten a commitment from our town leadership as well to work together. And that's the best possible thing we can ask for our taxpayers. Next, we'll go with policies, personnel, and governance. I think it's Mary.
Okay, the Policy, Personnel, and Governance Committee met on March 19th from 3:45 to 5:15. In attendance were board members Layla Morelli, Mary Wickens, Brendan Galligan, Robert Bonaccio, along with Administrator Dr. Gonzalez. The committee began by reviewing several central office job descriptions to ensure alignment with current responsibilities and expectations. Positions reviewed included the Coordinator of Professional Growth and Development, Assistant Superintendent of Special Programs and Student Support Services, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum Instruction and Programs, School Business Administrator, Board Secretary, Director of Human Resources, and Coordinator of School and Community Relations. The committee recommends the review of the superintendent's job description at the April meeting, taking into consideration feedback shared with committee members and comparisons to other districts. It was agreed that these job descriptions be presented to the board for approval simultaneously. The committee also reviewed a draft on an updated district organizations chart. The revised chart provides a clearer visual representation of the district structure with more defined lines of authority, responsibility, accountability, and support. While no action was taken, the committee agreed that continued discussion is warranted at the next PPG meeting to further refine the chart. Although there were no new policies for review at this time, the committee was informed that Regulation 5600, Student Code of Conduct, is currently undergoing its annual administrative review. This year's review also includes an evaluation of language regarding participation in athletics and extracurricular activities. A revised version of the regulation is expected to be presented to the committee in April or May. The committee also discussed the approach to inclement weather day give-back options for the 25-26 and 26-27 school calendars. Traditionally, unused snow days are returned around Memorial Day weekend, starting with Friday, then Tuesday and Wednesday. The committee explored 3 possible alternatives for the next 2 years: maintaining that traditional pattern, reclaiming days at the end of the school year to support the early start of summer construction, or using a combination of both strategies. While no decisions were made, the committee recommends further exploration of these options in light of potential referendum-related construction. A request to back-to-school night dates on the district's academic calendar was also reviewed. These dates are traditionally set by the administration and have been standardized as follows: intermediate schools on the first Thursday after the start of school, elementary schools on the second Thursday, the high school on the third Thursday, and Lincoln School on the first Thursday in October. The committee supports the recommendation to officially include these dates on the academic calendar moving forward. In response to parent and community concerns regarding vehicle idling in front of schools, the committee discussed the idea of crafting a board resolution addressing the issue. It was agreed that a draft resolution will be reviewed at the next PPG meeting. Lastly, board members are reminded to review the updated Westfield Board Handbook by April 2nd and submit any suggested changes to the PPG committee. Additionally, members are asked to complete the NJSBA Board self-evaluation by the same date. Those needing assistance with their NJSBA login are encouraged to contact Patty. The next meeting of the PPG committee is tentatively rescheduled for April 23rd. Thank you.
Thank you. Lastly, we'll have a report by the Ad hoc Referendum Communications Committee. Sonal?
The Referendum Communications Committee met virtually on March 12, 2025, from 4 to 5 p.m. In attendance were board members, myself, Mary Wickens, Kristen Sonic-Schmeltz, and Rob Bonaccio, as well as administrators Mary Ann McGann and Dr. Gonzalez. The meeting opened with an update on the Community Communications Advisory Committee. During their most recent convening on March 10th, the advisory group discussed the release of state aid figures and how it supports both the district's general budget and the bond referendum. Planned updates to the online portal were reviewed with the group, and they previewed the full 8-minute informational video, which you saw earlier tonight, along with shorter clip mix segments, and is being used across various platforms to educate the community. As in past meetings, advisory members continued to offer questions and thoughtful feedback to support ongoing messaging efforts. A recurring point of emphasis has been finding effective ways to reach families of young children who are not yet in the school system, as the referendum proposals will have a direct impact on their future educational experiences. The final meeting of the Communications Advisory Committee is scheduled for Monday, March 31st. The committee also discussed a draft of a letter to the editor intended to represent the full board. The letter to the editor will also serve as a companion piece to 4 weekly community updates Dr. Gonzalez will send directly to school district families. A copy of the letter was distributed to the full board for review and feedback prior to publication. to local media publications, including Tap Into, The Westfield Leader, and The Patch. In addition, the committee reviewed a new board and community communications resource document that compiles key messaging points, referendum facts by the numbers, useful links, and a collection of social media and multimedia assets. This tool is designed to support consistent messaging and provide ready-to-use content for stakeholders who are helping to share accurate and timely information with the public. The resource will be distributed to the full board, administration, advisory committee members, the Parent-Teacher Council, and community partners. The committee expressed appreciation to all the work that has taken place to ensure every segment of the community is informed and engaged in advance of the referendum. No additional meetings of the ad hoc committee have been scheduled.
Thank you. Now we'll move to really what's going to be the public budget hearing and an opportunity to recognize the public on agenda action items only. During this portion of the meeting, district residents and staff are invited to address the Board of Education on agenda action items only. As a courtesy, allow current students and staff of the Westfield Public Schools to speak first. The board requests that individuals sign in and state their name, municipality of residence, and group affiliation, if applicable, for the record, the specific action items they're commenting on, and ask that all remarks be directed to the board president or designee, not to individual members or staff. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals in speaking. Specifically, comments regarding personnel matters are discouraged and cannot be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comments made by members of the public. If a matter concerning a district staff member is of interest or concern to a resident, the matter should be referred to the responsible building principal, superintendent of schools, or the Board of Education, either by telephone, letter, or email. Although the board may not respond to items raised during the public forum, all public comments will be considered. Please note that if any member of the public becomes disruptive during the meeting, the board president may terminate the participant's statement. Continued disruptions may result in removal from the meeting or adjournment of the meeting. Each speaker's statement will be limited to 3 minutes in duration. Seeing no one approaching, we will close the public portion of the meeting and move to board action. We'll start with a motion. I will make a motion to approve the minutes of the March 4th, 2025 regular board meeting and executive session. Do I have a second? Second for Kent. We can do this by voice vote. All in favor? Yes. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that carries. Next, board action items on governance. Sonal?
I'd like to move item A under the governance section of tonight's agenda. Is there a second? Thank you, Kristen.
All right, Patty?
Rob Bonaccio,
Yes.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Charles Jelinas.
No.
Layla Morelli. Sonal Patel.
Yes.
Kristen Sonic-Schmeltz.
Yes.
Julie Steinberg. Mary Wickens.
Yes.
All right, next we'll move to the personnel items on the agenda. Mary?
I'd like to move items A through R under the personnel section of tonight's agenda. I'd just like to highlight that item R is a sidebar agreement with the WSSA to add bus drivers to their contract. Is there a second?
Second.
Kristen. Oh, sorry, Brendan. Any discussion? That's right.
So this evening, I do have several retirement comments that I'd like to share. Begin with Cecilia Lopak. Cecilia has dedicated over 30 years to the Westfield Public Schools with exceptional devotion and passion as a Spanish teacher at Edison Intermediate School. Always willing to go the extra mile, Cecilia has been a reliable presence, whether stepping in to cover additional classes or lending her insights to the INRS committee. Cecilia is cherished by students, colleagues, and administrators alike for her culturally rich lessons that broaden students' worldviews. She's passionately utilized authentic materials to boost cultural awareness and was instrumental in establishing the Day of the Dead hallway display at Edison Intermediate School, a beloved annual tradition she pioneered with her fellow Spanish teachers. Beyond her classroom contributions, Cecilia was pivotal in shaping the intermediate world language curriculum, actively participating in its revision and presentation to the curriculum and instruction panel. Her enthusiasm for education and unwavering dedication have left a lasting imprint on our district. Antonio, or Tony Cucaro, has been an outstanding mechanic and the backbone of the maintenance department for 38 years. Tony has been the go-to person for any job, combining his exceptional mechanical skills with a readiness to assist in any capacity needed. His leadership and willingness to help have not only made him a pivotal member of the team, but also earned him the respect and admiration of everyone in his department. His vast experience and dedication have been invaluable assets to the district, and his presence will be greatly missed. Anthony Tony Pericolo has been a member of the Westfield Public Schools for the past 15 years, most recently serving as a district mechanic. Tony has been a tremendous employee, consistently dependable, reliable, and an invaluable member of our team. His willingness to assist in any capacity has made him a pleasure to work with and a vital asset to the maintenance department. Tony's cooperative spirit and readiness to help have significantly contributed to our operations, earning him the respect and appreciation of his colleagues. As Tony transitions into retirement, we extend our deepest gratitude for his dedication and hard work. Almost there. Victor Reyes. Victor has dedicated 29 years to our school district, most recently serving as a custodian at Wilson Elementary School. Known among his custodial team as both a veteran and an all-star, Victor has consistently demonstrated his dedication and reliability. Always ready to lend a hand, he ensures that every corner of the building is meticulously maintained. And on weekends, Victor is especially proactive, finding extra tasks to enhance the school's cleanliness and shine. His willingness to come in early and stay late exemplifies his role as a true team player, particularly evident during PTO and community events, where he goes above and beyond to support every detail. Victor's commitment and pride in his work create a clean, welcoming environment that everyone in the community enjoys daily. His ability to handle his responsibilities with excellence and professionalism has made him an indispensable asset to our team. Valerie Williams. Valerie has been the heart of McKinley Elementary School as the dedicated nurse for the past 20 years. Valerie has not only provided exceptional care to our students and staff, but has also played a crucial role in promoting health education within our school community. Throughout her tenure, Valerie has collaborated thoughtfully with staff and parents to ensure the health and safety of our students, earning the deep trust of parents who rely on her to care for their children each and every day. Her dedication is so profound that the news of her retirement brings her to tears, reflecting her passion for what she describes as the best job in the world. Valerie's thorough, kind, and thoughtful approach to her work has made her a beloved figure among staff, students, and families alike. She truly embodies what it means to be a school nurse, setting a high standard for those who will follow in her footsteps. Last but not least, we honor Joan Pensack. Joan has been the heart and soul of McKinley since 2011, embodying the gold standard for school secretaries with her unmatched professionalism, diligence, and dedication. As the backbone of the McKinley school community, she has ensured that everything runs smoothly and efficiently, always with the warmth that makes McKinley feel like home. Whether juggling phone calls, managing deliveries, coordinating meeting schedules, arranging substitute coverage, or welcoming daily visitors, Joan does it all with a constant smile. Each year, she meticulously prepares for the upcoming school year, ensuring all materials and supplies are ordered well in advance. Her hard work often goes without seeking recognition, yet she deeply cares for everyone in our community. As Joan prepares to leave McKinley, her absence will be profoundly felt, but her impact and the high standards she set continue to inspire our community for years to come. We wish our retirees all the best for a happy and healthy retirement.
Patty?
Rob Bonaccio,
Yes.
Ken Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Charles Gelinas.
Yes.
Layla Morelli,
Yes.
Sonal Patel,
Yes.
Kristen Sonic-Schmeltz,
Yes.
Julie Steinberg, Mary Wickens.
Yes.
All right, next we'll move to the finance and facilities items on the agenda. Kent?
Thank you. I'm going to break this down into 3 different votes. I'd like to move item A on the finance agenda, which is the adoption of the final budget, the base budget plus the wording and numbers for question, the additional question, the $302,000. May I have a second, please? Sonal, thank you. Any comments?
Patty?
Rob Bonaccio,
Yes.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Charles Jelinas.
Yes.
Leila Morelli,
Yes.
Sonal Patel,
Yes.
Kristen Sonic Schmelz,
Yes.
Julie Steinberg, Mary Wickens.
Yes.
All right, next I'm going to move item B under the Finance and Facilities agenda. This is the wording for the two bond proposals, questions 1 and 2. May I have a second, please? Kristen, thank you. Any conversations anymore?
Did you want to read those all into the record? No.
I can. I'll run through the math, too.
Perfect. And Patty?
Rob Bonaccio,
Yes.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Charles Jelinas,
Yes.
Leila Morelli,
Yes.
Sonal Patel,
Yes.
Kristen Sonic Schmelz,
Yes.
Julie Steinberg, Mary Wickens.
Yes.
All right, and lastly, I'd like to move items C through S under the Finance and Facilities agenda. Items of note, item I is the shared service agreement with the town of Westfield for field maintenance at Roosevelt. And we do have a donation to mention. We want to give a shout out to McKinley School 5th grade Girl Scout troop who are donating $3,550 to purchase a Gaga pit. As a Gaga player, I'm enthused about this one. And this brings our total donations this school year to $104,149.52. May I have a second, please? Thank you, CJ.
All right, Patty?
Rob Bonaccio,
Yes.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Charles Jelinas.
Yes.
Leila Morelli,
Yes.
Sonal Patel,
Yes.
Kristen Sonic Schmelz,
Yes.
Julie Steinberg, Mary Wickens.
Yes.
All right, next, curriculum, instruction, and programs. Kristen?
I'd like to move items A and B under the SIP section of tonight's agenda. A, ask the board to approve the K through 5 social studies curricula, and B, ask the board to approve 3 field trips at WHS. Can I get a second? Sonal? Sorry. And we can vote?
Patty?
Rob Bonaccio,
Yes.
Kent Diamond,
Yes.
Brendan Galligan,
Yes.
Charles Jelinas.
Yes.
Leila Morelli,
Yes.
Sonal Patel,
Yes.
Kristen Sonic Schmelz.
Yes.
Julie Steinberg, Mary Wickens.
Yes.
And I'll call the board's attention to the notes for the record. There was no unfinished or new business submitted for inclusion in this agenda, so we will move right to liaison reports, if anyone has any. Kristen?
I have a liaison report for the PTC. I want to thank the PTC for hosting the Board of Education Candidates Night last Wednesday evening in Cafeteria B. It was the first in-person one since COVID, so that was very exciting. The Special Education Committee asked us to announce the Catherine E. Cuthbertson a Memorial Achievement Award application for seniors. They're due this Friday, March 28th, and they can be emailed to Westfield's Special Ed Parents at gmail.com. Also, the Breaks Committee, we want to thank them for their hard work in preparing for the upcoming annual Crossing Guard Breakfast, which will be held on Wednesday, April 30th from 8:30 to 10 in the Westfield Community Room at the Municipal Building. And then lastly, a huge shout out and thank you to all of our schools and their respective PTOs for organizing and hosting the community service events that are happening throughout our schools throughout the end of March this month. So thank you.
I have one report that I guess fits best here. So again, talking about things that the board's talked about and are taking additional action on. Dr. Gonzalez and I had the chance before this meeting to sit down with Assemblywoman Michelle Matsukutis, who represents this district, regarding items that have come up really over the course of the past few years that address some issues with state law and how they apply to the board's operation, ways that the board can operate a bit more efficiently, and some concerns that we have all had about, limitations that maybe laws put on what we can and can't do. So she was, we spent some time with our board really over a few months, polling them for items that, we thought that we were running into that should be addressed with state legislatures. We did that with district staff, and we thought long and hard about questions and comments that the public has made to us. What answers we've had to give, yeah, that makes sense, but we have a state law that says this. Or, yes, you're right, there might be an easier way to do this, but there's a state law that says otherwise. And compiling all those, we focused with the Assemblywoman on really two things. One is harassment, intimidation, and bullying items. Both this board, our district, and parents often struggle with aspects of this law that are very well intended and exist to protect students, but operationally have become a little bit difficult for both the board, for both parents to work with, and for the district to work with. We had found out that there had been a commission to review the law and recommend some changes to it. And whereas some of the items in that report were passed, a lot of the others, many of which addressed some of the concerns that we're all having, had not been acted on. And the Assemblywoman, assured us that she would take a look at that law and see if there was a way to partner with us on the future to get some of those other additional items passed. The second discussion we had was regarding overall budgeting. We did not walk in asking to change the 2% cap. We're gutsy, but not that gutsy. What we really were talking about were more innovative ways to handle our budget. Because we see a lot of ways, certainly within the district, where we can help manage funds to save taxpayers money and not keep having to go back to them for items. One of the suggestions that had come up, just regarding our technology is we have, we issue Chromebooks to students. We have significant technology infrastructure here to manage all that. And those are, at this point in the educational time, absolutely capital projects. Yet we can't use our capital reserves or other budgets to pay for them. Instead, we're coming back to taxpayers asking for $100,000 here and $200,000 there to cover these items, which increases the tax base in and of itself. We had a few items of that nature to speak to the Assemblywoman about, to say maybe there are ways that we can open up the creativity with our budgeting, use of reserved funds and use of other reserves to save taxpayers money while allowing us to build those reserves and plan ahead. Absolutely very receptive to that as well. This was a first conversation, and there is a lot more to discuss with it, but it was about time, that this board, in addition to managing the things here, take its advocacy role, out there as well. And again, had we not had the feedback from the board and all the work and the comments that they've made, we wouldn't have had this sort of substance to talk with her about. So thank you again all for that. This conversation will absolutely continue, but again, I want to thank Dr. Gonzalez as well for taking time today to get this part started. And with that, I will recognize the public for comments regarding any topic that is within the scope of the Board of Education. I ask any current students and staff of Westfield Public Schools to be allowed to speak first. The rules for public comment that I discussed earlier still apply here. Seeing no one, I will close final public comment and I will make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Kent, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Meeting's adjourned.